Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for your time. We're gonna start straight away. We're gonna have people, I'm sure, joining us as we go. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Really excited that you're either signed up or thinking about signing up. Unfortunately, I'm not actually with my colleague Anisha, but just to explain, my name's Ed. I'm the founder of Empathy Week, used to be a teacher in North London. We're going into our 6th year of this festival, which is absolutely amazing. And hopefully today, going to be able to show you really what's coming up, how to get involved, how to navigate maybe the website, the members area if it's your first time, and really enjoy the festival and bring. So the first thing I'm going to show you, if you haven't seen already, is a quick trailer, which is going to give you in 45 seconds a bit of an insight into what happens during the week, what you can get take part in. Okay, so that's a little very quick insight into what's happening. We're super excited to be supported by some amazing organisations. It is the 10th to the 14th of March. A question I always get is, is there any leeway around this? So live events, so we have online events and we have in-person events, they are all going to be here, but the actual resources will be available from the 1st of March through to the 31st of March, and that includes all the speakers as well. So I won't show this with sound, but last year we reached a huge amount of young people across the world. We essentially had live events in person. Unfortunately, at the moment, they are only just sort of around the south of England, but we're hoping we can expand this year on year. And ultimately, we always get asked this question, why empathy? For us, empathy is the most foundational skill for social emotional learning. If you think about skills that you want in young people and students, even probably some of your colleagues or just around the world, the people that you work with, you want to have leadership, you want to have creativity, you want to have great communication, you want people that see connection over difference, you want people to be able to engage with others from different backgrounds. All of these things involve a strong baseline of empathy as that core skill, and that's why we focus on it. It's quite tangible. Empathy Studios, which is our umbrella organisation, we're the people that actually run Empathy Week. We have done research with Cambridge University based on film, which we make, and our programmes that have shown that you can teach empathy, but not only this, when you do so, teachers have reported there's an improvement in behaviour, there's an increase in self-esteem of students because they get to start talking about themselves and they get to see their own lives in the light of other people. This is why we focus on it as a skill. When I was a teacher, part of my frustration was on some charity days, I would ask students, who are they raising money for? Half of them couldn't even tell me. And then the other half that could didn't necessarily know what that charity even did. So it wasn't necessarily skill building, it was just charity for charity's sake, which of course that's great and it raises money for crucial services and things that are needed. But if we are trying to develop kindness, if we are trying to develop core skills in young people that actually are linked to tangible skills, we have to develop them with purpose. And that's what Empathy Week is kind of a gateway into, which is this idea of understanding other people. We define it as the skill to understand and the ability to create space for someone to reveal their authentic self whilst reserving judgment. If you took it as a kind of one word definition, it would be understanding. And that's why our theme this year is What's Your Spark, is really positive. Empathy isn't this thing that you just have towards people who are worse off than you. It's about understanding people that are better off than you, that come from a different country, that come from the same country, that look and sound like you or that don't look and sound like you. It really is about connecting with anyone, whoever. And what's really exciting this year as well is that we partnered with some organisations such as Born Free, where we're actually talking about how do you develop empathy for planet, for animals, for conservation, and how does that trickle on. Why us? As I've said, we're teachers. We've been in the classroom. I've been a middle leader. I do understand there are stresses and strains of everything in the day-to-day life, and sometimes just things happen and then you need to react to that. We've done research, as I said, and more importantly, education should be exciting. It should be engaging. It should be fun for teachers and educators as well as students. And there's a load of research around empathy that's starting to come through, both in the workplace and also in schools. One that's I really like to point out is this one around cyberbullying from Florida Atlantic University. If you Google that, you'll find it. What they found is that if you increase the skill of empathy, so teenagers with higher levels of empathy are less likely to cyberbully on a both racially and religiously motivated basis. So we're talking about prevention here. We're not just talking about problems and we see this in society and we need to tackle it. We're actually talking about preventing things from happening in the first place, which is exactly what we want to be doing. Oh, sorry, I've just clicked on it. As you'll see, that is a clickable link. Hopefully you can now still see. I'm going to stop sharing just for a minute, just so that I can make sure that I am actually sharing the right screen, because I just clicked on that. There we go. So let me just come back into it. Great. So this is what we do. Increase the amount and diversity of experiences that you have. How do you develop empathy? It's a question I always get. So you can do this throughout the year. You can talk about what news sources are you looking at. If you're a historian and you're a history teacher, you'll talk about sources all the time. One source doesn't give you the right answer. It's looking at multiple. And we should be looking at experiences like this. So trips, you'll know, are really good. Anything cultural, anything arts, all the stuff that basically is now not being funded is the sort of thing that can help increase the skill of empathy. And so what we do is try and increase the amount and diversity of experiences that students can have during this week. Our theme, as I've said, is What's Your Spark? What you get access to are film-based assemblies. These are for any age group from age 5 to 18. So there's actually, we differentiate in terms of 5 age levels, and you'll see that in a second. Live and online demand, and we have some in-person events as well. If you take part in this week, it's not about doing all of these. You could do one thing, but there is the option to do everything as well. So it's a pick and mix. What suits your school needs? What do you want to do? What do you want to look at and take part in? So if I just go to the next slide. So our film-based assemblies are different to our empathy program that we run through with Empathy Studios, but you might notice some of the similar characters if you've had a look at that. So we've got Moni and El Cherry. They're both from Mexico, because that's where we've recently been doing some filming. And we have 3 variations of films, film-based assemblies, so 2 to 3 minutes for ages 5 to 7, 3 to 4 minutes for ages 8 to 11, 4 to 5 minutes for 11 to 18. But Moni talks about the power of music. Her spark is music. She works actually for Spotify in Mexico. She used to run a festival there and talks about the importance of women in the industry and bringing your passions to the workplace. And then El Charo, he actually talks about identity, culture. But what this does is it gives students a chance to talk about their culture, their identity, where they're from, what they're proud of. All of these things are kind of sparks, excuse the pun from the theme, but these are sparks that allow students themselves to talk about what's going on in their lives. And what happens then, and this is what we've researched with Cambridge, is if you allow time after, students start to learn and listen about each other, they start to connect. And this is a compound interest that if you do this over time, you start to build connections between your students, connections between students and staff, connections between staff and staff. And we do it. Film is just such a powerful way of storytelling and educating. And then we have some amazing on-demand speakers. I would say some of these could be used for upper end of primary, so they could be used for 9, 10, 11-year-olds, but we age them at 11 to 18-year-olds. Just incredible, young, but people that have been in the world of work and been doing various things. And you can think of these as on-demand. So think of it like TEDx style sort of interviews, TEDx but sort of interviews that you can click and play. They're 15 to 18 minutes long, where students can learn about someone's interesting life, what they do, and learn about the different topics. When you've got Darcy here, for example, who's an international GB women's hockey player. She's the only player of colour in that team, and she talks about also setting up a charity that helps girls stay in sport and get into sport. Ella is a Young Engineer of the Year, talks about, being in that engineering industry, and her spark is about materials and everything that makes cars go faster. You've got Josh, who is a kind of content creator in Ireland and talks about the beauty of Ireland, and he makes videos and photos all about wildlife and visiting Ireland. Ben, who's actually had 500 million streams of his music across the world. He's a very successful artist. You may have heard of the 1975 and the script. He's got co-writing credits on a lot of these songs, but he just talks again about the power of music, connecting with people. And then you've got Tayo, who talks about setting up a social enterprise and impact for young people. So these are all really inspiring people that you can get access to through the week. And then, of course, we're supported by some incredible, I don't know how I can mute this, some incredible organisations that are going to be joining us and taking part also in shows, in CPD, in assemblies. There's loads and loads of things happening. At the moment, the blue is in-person events, and pink, which is probably most of you, is online events. What can you access? We have two primary live assemblies, one about using empathy with kindness, one about helping students who may be anxious about social isolation. So those are primary assemblies that you can book onto, that are live, that you can stream into with your schools. And then what's really exciting as well, we did this last year, it was a huge success. Training for teachers usually costs loads, or it's an inconvenient time, or it's not really accessible. You have to organize it, which takes a load of time. We've got three amazing CPDs. One which is from Born Free, which is aimed at primary teachers around education around animal and environment protection and through the lens of empathy. We've got another one with Basingstoke College of Technology. They've actually won awards around empathy and AI, and basically they're going to show you how they use empathy in their college, in AI protocols, things that can actually enhance empathy. We often hear about how technology is driving us apart. They're actually managing to use it in a really positive way. Super useful if you don't yet have proper AI policies in place as well. Scott, who's leading that, is an absolute gem in that area. And then we've got a teacher webinar with CPD training with No Isolation, which is talking about emotionally based school avoidance. What are some of the tips, tricks, problems that you might be having that you can think of a way of actually being able to do that. And then Friday, we've given ourselves kind of a day off in events, and probably yourself as well, to do that. So it is, just to sort of wrap up, I did promise this will be quick. This is a tailor to your school. This is a go on, explore, have a look at what's there, download things that you want, use it with your teachers, and start talking about each other, start connecting with your students, start really building this skill of empathy, which does take time, but off the back of it will increase the connections, will increase the ability of your students to be able to also talk about themselves, to emotionally regulate and build up that emotional literacy as well. So key tips are, if you're here, you're probably getting the emails anyway, but schools@empathy-week.com, add it as a contact to your inbox, make sure you don't miss anything. So key information, on-demand resources and speaker sessions, they'll be released on the 1st of March. Access will end to them on the 31st of March. So use them within that period if you're going to. And our events are now live and you can get access to that. So what I'll do now is I'll just come off of here, but this is the members area, and I'll show you how to navigate the members area in case you haven't been on it yet or you're not quite registered. And also what's really exciting is, as well, is that we ask a lead teacher to register for Empathy Week, but we realised then that it makes it difficult for teachers to sign on to the CPD if they want. So what we've done is we've made a link that allows any teacher in your school to access the CPD really quickly, really easily, and let them sign on to what they want to do as well. And I'll share that link with you in a moment. So if I just come out of here, it's really simple. If you go to empathyweek-week.com, also empathyweek.org works, we've got both of those. You'll come to our sort of landing page where you can just see the trailer that you saw before. You can either register your school straight away. If you haven't yet done that, simply enter the form, or if you click go to the main site, and then you can see that I'm already logged in. You will just need to log in, click members area, takes you there. You can book onto events very simply here. So if you wanted to access the online CPD or the primary assembly, you get more information here. It tells you all about what's happening in the assembly. You can sign up your school for each individual event, because we send then different links, different Zoom links and different things for each event. And so you can see more information. Example, Born Free, we've got some of their founders, I think, on the call. Sorry, not founders, the founder's son on the call, who's now their CEO, with some amazing people. This one actually also gives a digital goodie bag, great for primary teachers if you're thinking about, kids love animals, right? They love talking about animals, and this is a way to develop empathy through that and through some really great classroom resources. Again, they'll be free, so definitely worth signing up to some of these. As I mentioned, there is a link, and I'll put it in the chat in a minute, which is direct CPD. So obviously here, to book onto these events, you had to be part of the members area, and you had to have registered. You can access the film-based assemblies from the 1st of March and the on-demand talks here. But as I said, if you've got other teachers and educators in your network or in your school, you can give them this link here, and it will take them directly to a place where they can book a place onto the CPD without needing to register. So that is the really quick run through of everything. You'll notice some of the slides that I was showing. You can actually access them here about schools information. If you go down, you can see a bit more about our history and what we do, but there is also slides here that you can look through in more detail about what we do and the slides that I've been showing you today as well. And also, if you do have any questions that are looming, you can email us schools@empathy-week.com